Director General of FCT Emergency Management Agency. I stand here on behalf of the entire members of staff of FCT Emergency Management Agency and the entire members of staff of FCT Administration and FCDA. You are highly welcome to this coordination meeting, and at the same time, the marking of the International Day for People with Disability, which took place on the 3rd of December. It is with great delight that stakeholders are once again put together in this conference room to deliberate on this critical, important, and a great issue that has to be handled. And that is why we have in our midst here today the sponsors of Sustainable Family Health Care Foundation with us, who traveled all the way to come down here to be with us at this meeting. This meeting is very important. You recall we were here on the 13th of October, being the International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction. And the theme on that day was fighting inequality for a resilient future. If you look at that theme and you look at the purpose of this coordination meeting, you will know that the whole world is ready to do everything, whatever they need to do to save lives and properties, especially to save lives. They would not want to leave anybody out of the whole issue of disaster risk reduction, which is very critical to life, and not just in Nigeria, not just in Africa, but in the whole world. And that is why we are collaborating with SFHF and CBM to come up with this collaboration meeting, because it is very important and it has to do with humanity. As we are gathered here to hold this coordination meeting to deliberate on disability inclusiveness, on DRR, principles and practice, vulnerability and inclusiveness in disaster management, and to understand what disaster risk reduction is all about, which we have been doing all these years. Agreed, we do it day in, day out, but the world of technology, and because of the climate change, global warming, things that are coming up, new innovations, new technology, we can never be tired of holding meetings, workshops, seminars, creating awareness on DRR. We have a lot of stakeholders, but today, in collaboration with SFH, CBM, we have decided to put together the critical stakeholders to deliberate on the inclusiveness of people with disability and others. When we talk about people with disability, this includes the aged, women and children, the poor, people that are very vulnerable, have to be inclusive to ensure that nobody is left out. I most sincerely commend Sustainable Family Healthcare Foundation and Christian Blind Mission for coming up with a wonderful project on DRL with specific focus on people with disability. We must sincerely appreciate them because right now they are in 3 area councils with 6 communities being carried along, and they have done so much, they have achieved so much within a short period, with evidence planted everywhere. And that is why I'm glad that we have their sponsor, CBM, here at this occasion today. We have done a lot of programs with them. Their sponsors were CBM. We are only represented with the project manager, but today they are here. Mr. Dominic is here himself to witness what they are doing to confirm all that they have put in place, their achievements within this short period. Bringing critical stakeholders together today to deliberate on this issue is because it is very paramount. But we must know that it is one thing to hold coordination meetings, hold workshops, conferences, and come up with policies, but it is another thing to implement these policies. But I am very sure that having chosen or picked only the critical stakeholders today, whatever policies we come up with will be definitely implemented because it has to do with lives, humanity. And I pray that after we leave this place, all the stakeholders present here today will definitely make sure they implement the policies that we come up with.
We put in mind the inclusiveness of every activities we are doing in the community. And this year theme on the International Day of Person with Disability is united in action to rescue and achieve the sustainable development goal for, with, and by person with disability. For, with, and person with disability. And it's just to look at the achievement of the SDG. The SDG is about 17 with almost 165 targets. How many has Nigeria met out of the 17? If you look at the 17 goal, which I'm not going to be able to state the whole 17, but let me just mention 10. Number 1 on the list is poverty. When SDG was created, poverty was not even there. We are not seeing it much. Now that we are inside the poverty itself, what are we going to say? What is Nigeria going to do to us, especially persons with disability? They said 0 to hunger. Anywhere you see poverty, hunger is the chairman. Good health and well-being. When you don't have money, you don't have anything. Definitely when they are talking of well-being and health, I think you cannot get 100% of that. Quality education is seriously affecting the person with disability. Most of them, they don't go to school or they don't even complete education. So I don't know where Nigeria is going. Gender inequality. Even person that is not disabled, Nigeria is not paying attention, especially to women. Clean water and sanitation, what is happening in our communities. Even in town, in Abuja here, most of the communities in Abuja here, we don't even see government uh, pipe water. Most homes is borehole, that was done by individual, not government. Affordable and clean energy. Let me just stop there because it's very long, something that I don't want it to delay us or waste our time here. In the landscape of humanitarian efforts, the inclusion of persons with disability is not merely a matter of policy. It is an ethical imperative, and CBM International, through Sustainable Family Healthcare Foundation, through its DIDRR initiative, and in collaboration with FEMA, is committed to fostering resilience and ensuring that no one is left behind when disaster strikes. As we gather here today, it is also essential to acknowledge the significance of collaboration and coordination in the success of our endeavors. The DRDRR coordination meeting today serves as a platform for us to synchronize our efforts, share insights, and further forge partnership that will enhance the impact of collective work. Our project operates within broader framework of sustainable development, recognizing that consequences of disaster can exacerbate existing vulnerabilities. Adopting disability inclusive approach, we are not only mitigating the immediate impact of disaster on persons with disability, but also contribute to building more robust and resilient communities during capacity building, livelihood support, and WASH interventions. Over the course of this meeting, we will delve into the intricacies of our project, looking at what we have done so far, where we started, where we are, and where we are going. Because we know that we are still going ahead, because CBM, or I will say God and CBM, are solidly behind us. We are going to also let you know the milestones achieved and a chart of or a course for the future through open dialogue and the exchange of ideas today. We aim to identify innovative strategies, address challenges, and reinforce our commitment to inclusivity. I would like to express my gratitude to my partners, to our partners, stakeholders all here, and all those who have contributed to the success of the DRDR project thus far. A big thank you, sir. The CBM International and Mr. Dominic that is here in person with us. You don't know what you have done for me today. Oh. It's like you have brought billion for me to start another project. Because your presence matter to me and it gives me so much joy that you are here.
CBM has been engaging in disability inclusive development since 1968 in Nigeria, and currently we're supporting programs in 16 countries. So it's a real pleasure for us to work together with all of you. We work together with our partners towards an inclusive world where persons with disabilities have the same rights as everybody else and can enjoy life as everybody else. That is really our vision as an organization, and community development is part of our DNA in the organization. Because all the big frameworks like the SDGs that were mentioned this morning or the Convention for the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, they are only meaningful if they actually reach the people in the communities. And that's why we really believe in community development. A very important part of community development is that people are coming together. And I see a lot of energy today in this room with people from different backgrounds coming together around disability inclusive disaster risk reduction. So this is very, very encouraging. And from the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank you for this energy and your commitment to the topic. So including persons with disabilities in disaster management, disaster risk reduction is a key thing. And we know today that disasters can basically strike any community in different form or shape. Any community in the world is actually facing disasters. However, the reality is often that when a disaster strikes, persons with disabilities are left behind. And communities are not prepared to make sure that everybody is included in disaster management. So preparing authorities, preparing communities to have good, inclusive disaster management plans in place is really, really crucial. And an important part to do this is that the different stakeholders are working together, which again is what I see in this room and which is very, very encouraging. So let me thank you all from the bottom of my heart for engaging with this topic of DIDR. You mentioned that you're not getting tired, and I can see that you're not getting tired, that you're really all engaging with the topic at different levels. It's encouraging to see the progress that has been made. I want to thank the organizations of persons with disabilities. I would like to thank the authorities. I would also sincerely like to thank the community leaders, because without you, nothing happens in the communities. And of course, I want to thank our partner, the Sustainable Family Healthcare Foundation. Thank you so much for leading on this project. And I wish you all of the best going forward. And I'm really, really grateful for the collaboration with all of you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
When I arrived, I met one of the members of the high table is already explaining that Nigeria has already signed into the law the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Act, and by 17 January, by God's grace, the implementation of the law will start, because it's already, the awareness and whatever has already stayed for almost 5 years. So thank God, I understand that in this gathering, there is also an FCDO who's in charge of the accessibility, if I can put it in this way, accessibility of FCT. You know, as far as Abuja concerned, other states, 36 states, is always like to copy what exactly in Abuja. So that, for example, now if we want to go and advocate for a state chapters, we first of all maybe start citing examples. Say, okay, if you go to the Abuja, you will see a full accessibility. Although when we are talking about the right of person with disability, we are not talking about only the accessibility, ramp, maybe elevator, whatever, so that I want to see the minister or I want to see the commissioner, no. But this is one among the 100. Really, we need accessibility because it is very important. But if you look at issue of person with disability, accessibility is 102. The accessibility of physical structure is 102 cluster out of more than 13 cluster we have of person with disability in Nigeria. The accessibility of physical structure, maybe the only people needed is a person with physical disability or spinal cord injuries. Other accessibility we need is like this, my friend. We have person with hard hearing. They really need sign language interpreters. We also have, maybe let's say, blind, who also need other accessibility. So what we are advocating, or the law signing by His Excellency, the former President of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, is the total right of person with disability. And that is exactly what we are advocating for. So I really appreciate the organizer, as I said earlier. I thank each and every one of you here. I pray God Almighty Allah will guide us for a successful deliberation. Thank you all.
FCT Emergency Management Agency, CBM, and Sustainable Family Health Care Foundation. This is a very profound collaboration, and it's well recognized that it will achieve results. We therefore say we will always appreciate what you do, and we will try as much as possible to contribute the best to sustain what you do too. And that's why one of the reasons why he has given us this place for free. He will always be available to support us in whatever we do.
Whatever you are talking about the risks, person with disability will always, if there is issue like a risk, the person will have develop it. For example, now if there is any problem here, when they say run, before you know it, all of you will run. But definitely, I cannot run because I'm working with people. That is why we are really advocating for either the government, the stakeholder, the development partner to see that it is very important for them to look at the issue of person with disability, more especially in the issue of risk reduction. All what we are advocating for people to know that the person with disability in Nigeria are equal with their colleague, person with non-disability. We are only advocating for our right. We want Nigerians to understand that we are trying to make people to understand the full definition of person with disability. Some people are defined person with disability in terms of charity more than thinking that whenever they see person with disability, he or she need an alms giving. Some people are looking at person with disability anywhere they see us thinking that we are sick, we need assistance for help and whatever. This is not what we want. We want people to understand that person and disability is just what God want to make person to be. Based on this one, we want people to define disability in human rights approach, to know that me and you, we are equal in Nigeria. If it comes to the maybe election, you have a one vote and I have a one vote to vote for any person who happens to be our executive in Nigeria. So that is the way we want people to understand. And we thank God, as I said, the law has already been signed and the implementation of the law will start next year, January, inshallah. Thank you.
Already at the grassroots, Area Council Service Secretariat is in charge of community development too, and chieftaincy matters. We supervise all this. These two donor agencies are already at the grassroots, 3 local government. They operate in the 3 local government of FCT. But we are here to solicit for their support to include the other 3. If it will not be too burdensome for them, gradually they should include the other 3 local government. They are doing well because they give scholarships, reading materials to vulnerable people, including the aged, the old, the blind, the disabled. And this stakeholders meeting today is very timely to commemorate the International Day of Disabled. UN separated a whole day for people living with disabilities. They are part of SDG too. Yes, because when SDG, people with this, we are given reference to, we should give them attention. When there's any risk or disaster, they should be first considered. People just leave them and walk away. They discriminate against them. Even when you go to bus parks or where, when the bus comes, you say only those who are strong enter. They leave the disabled. So this stakeholders meeting will rejig us. I can see Red Cross here and a lot of agencies that are relevant to disabled people. And the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is also particular about the vulnerable, even in terms of palliatives. The vulnerables are also included. That's why we have the humanitarian minister who reaches everywhere, not only those who are strong, who are fit.
The FCT Emergency Management Agency invited us here to be a partaker of what the CBN and the Sustainable Family Foundation is doing. Most importantly, we appreciate their efforts because we, NEMA, we are a coordinating agency, and for this coordination meeting, it's very critical that we partake because, you know, our mandate is for the sake of the distress. We coordinate disaster management in all its ramifications in Nigeria, and so we appreciate their effort in bringing us together to see that the people that are living with disability are being factored into what we are doing. And so my Director General, through the head of our Abuja Operation Office, asked me to be present here so that whatever deliberation, whatever decision that is being taken in this place, we are assuring them that we are going to escalate it and make sure the federal partake or see to the implementation of this program. We are happy that today has come to a reality, and we felicitate with the CBN, we felicitate with the family, the Sustainable Family, which is an NGO, and we also use this opportunity to invite and I know to ask other NGOs to emulate what they are doing. I believe together we will make it happen. Thank you very much.
I am here with my team. We are invited for this program, and why we came is because it has to do with the kind of job that we do. Yeah, the SFHF, what they are doing is very good. They are mainly dealing with people with disability, and we ourselves is part of what we do. We are in the communities, and most of the times we work with people with disability. In fact, we give them preferential treatment. That is always there because they are very important people too. And knowing for the fact the kind of people they are always giving that priority in whatever you're doing. With the aged, of course, and children, we don't play with that. And we're in love with what the FHF are doing, and they invited us, although invited by FEMA, because we have been with FEMA for a very long time. So FEMA is helping them to invite people, but they are the people organizing the program. So when I heard of it, because I've heard about them and the work they're doing, mainly with the people with disability, so I decided that I'll come myself with my disaster coordinator and some other people to come and see what is going on here today. And generally, so good. So far, so good. From what we have seen, I think they're actually trying their best. And I've learned some things from what they are doing too. Because all the agencies, we work together and we learn from each other.
3 were given, but we are not saying we are not thanking you. We need more, ma. We need more. Most of our Angwas are suffering for that lack of water. We thank you much. God will reward you. Don't be discouraged. We thank you very much. We pray for everybody to go back home safely. Thank you.
Of persons with disability across the 3 area council, we refer to her as the godsend of our time, because what Madam Peterson have pushed to us or given unto us, to be frank, they said it the way it is. I don't pretend, I don't hesitate. I think if we can have her tie in Nigeria with the community of persons with disability, we say we are good to go with our life. Yes. The gadget, many of my members, the report I got, I am their leaders across the looks and craning of the FCT. But as God will have it, 3 area council happen to be the beneficiary with the community of persons with disability. We've gotten so many things from SFHF. In fact, the sewing machine, many of my members benefited. Tricycle, wheelchair, financial, oh God.
The project commenced last year, and we have been working till now. Most of the communities we are working, they don't even know how to actually work on most of the activities we are doing. But within the short period and few staff that we have, we're able to do a lot. If you listen to the presentation in the hall, you will say that you have done so much. 2, 4 things that really made me to be happy is that I remembered when we were trying to identify beneficiaries, we accessed almost 300, but we have 150 accessed. And all the 150 were given something, either financial, either assistive device, either maybe beneficial like machine or all the stuff. Even farmers, we gave them so many things. I'm so happy with that. Then the village savings loan is not cooperative society. Within the community, we form group, about 17 groups within the 6 communities we are working. 17 groups of this VSLA were formed. Some of them, they have challenges, they have problems in some, and some did very well. Some even ran away with the money. They have not even seen them now till today. But you can see some even gave scholarship to over 100 people. Even if it is 5,000 naira, it's still money, it's still scholarship to the vulnerables. So we are doing well. And for now, you can see the collaboration with FEMA and us and our donor, seeing us as somebody they can rely on with the image of Nigeria all over the world who want to bring money to Nigeria. But they still say that there's some organization that we can still trust, and we are one of them.
I will say that we're only trying to lay more emphasis on the inclusiveness of people with disabilities, because we have been carrying out a lot of programs in collaboration with Sustainable Family Health Care Foundation and CBM, Christian Blind Mission. We have been collaborating with them to see that we are able to carry people with disability along so that they'll be inclusive in whatever way they need to be included. Is it platform for walking in public buildings or on the highways? And at the same time, to ensure that they are part of the society. We have to give them that sense of belonging. They should be able to be employed in any department where their capability is, because we have carried out the vulnerability assessment of most of them, and we know where they can key into the society. Most of them are educated. It's just that sometimes maybe some of them cannot really stand, but they have their wheelchair. They sit on their wheelchair, they can write, they can read. So they should be able to fit into any of the ministries, be part of the society. They should feel that they are human like others, not to leave them out. Then in the area of disaster risk reduction, when something happens, we need to know that we have to give them a helping hand. We want the society, we want the government, government sector, government organizations, agencies, MDAs, private sectors to know that they are part of the society. And at any point in time that there's anything that is happening in terms of disaster, we should give them that attention. We should carry them along. We should reach out to them immediately there's a disaster, give them a helping hand and see how they can be rescued. That is one. Secondly, we have to look at the aged, women and children, people that are bedridden. This was captured during the International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction. I will say it's like a follow-up, because the theme for this year's International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction was talking about fighting inequality, inequality in every sense of life. We have to make sure we break that cycle. That cycle has to be carried out, and we make sure that they are carried along in every area of life, especially in a situation where they need to be given the opportunity to fend for themselves. You heard one of them, he said it. He said if they are employed, if they are trained, if their capacity is built, they will not be on the street to beg. So today, this collaboration meeting, coordination meeting, is for us to rub minds, to make sure we add to the policies that are already put in place to make sure they are not left out in any situation. Thank you.